Washington County election officials held a required public test of the ballot counting process prior to the election. This test is to ensure that ballot counting and signature verifications machines are running properly and the process smoothly before real ballots start rolling in.
This machine, it's hooked to an internal server here in our room that has all of the signatures from the state database for the registered voters. And it has some high-speed cameras in there, and when these run through, it takes a snapshot of the signature on the ballot and it compares it to the state database. If it matches, it goes down to one of these bins where it eventually gets sorted down to the precinct level. If it doesn't match, it gets kicked out into a special bin where it gets reviewed by our signature review team. And you'll see back there in the back by that American flag, there's several laptops set up. That's where the signature reviewers all set, and what they'll see is they'll see the image that got taken on the back of this ballot envelope, and it will compare it to the state database.
This machine alone can process up to 18,000 ballots an hour, counting and verifying signatures. Those ballots voted in person do not have to go through this procedure.
Signatures change over time, especially young voters. As they get older, they'll start to develop more of their signatures they're going to use for their life. But we also notice as some of our voters age that their signature will change too. So,
if the signatures don't appear to match, the county election office will attempt to contact the voter to verify this was their signature. After that, the machine sorts the ballots into the 135 precincts in the county for the next step in the process.
I'm not aware of any other county in the state that has the capability to get down to the precinct level, so we feel pretty lucky that we were able to do this. We got this machine last year.
This is when the ballots are separated from the envelopes and they become secret.
Once they're removed, we actually hand count the ballot and the envelopes to make sure it matches the paperwork of the two other times that it got counted over here. So we're counting these, and it's a chain of custody, and every single person has to sign off as it goes through these processes.
The ballots are then run through a tabulation machine which counts the ballots again, scanning the votes for accuracy. They are separated into 3 bins where ballots showing potential issues may need to be reviewed.
If those ballots end up in the bottom bin, they're good. And we move those over. If they go into the middle bin, it doesn't have a clear image. It could also mean that it's an undervote or an undervote, or it needs to be adjudicated. If it ends up in the top bin, I've seen, usually the example is it's like a damaged ballot. We'll try and run it through another time, but sometimes they get damaged on their way here and they won't run through.
A printed report of each batch shows why some of the ballots may have been questionable.
Yeah, this is just a report from every batch that says why it got kicked out. This particular one had a write-in. This one had an overvote, write-in, write-in. This one was blank. And it goes race by race. So if there's an issue on any of those, that's where you'll see it get kicked out to the middle bin.
If a ballot is damaged and the team of 2 election officials sees a clear intent, they can print up a new ballot and rerun it through the system with the original ballot attached for verification.
All right, just load it up there the same way. And shazam, it says it's good. So
Sullivan said none of the machines in the balloting system are connected to the internet, nor are the ballot voting machines placed in election polling places. Mail-in ballots are not accepted into these voter machines and are kicked out due to a special mark at the top of the ballot. This is why they must be spoiled before going in. Ballots at the polling places are printed individually on site and are the only ballots accepted during in-person voting. An internal data stick is used to count the ballot votes once they are voted, and the paper ballot drops into the bin below for backup verification.
Data sticks that we securely bring those back, but then we bring the paper ballots back as well, and those get audited. I do an additional audit on top of that where I explained how this machine over here sorts everything down to the precinct. We also separate all the ballots that come back in the bin down below by precinct and put them with the precinct. So
Sullivan says if there are any questions on ballots, they can be hand counted and reviewed.
I've personally hand counted, one year it was 5% of the election. It was, thousands and thousands of ballots that we have hand counted to make sure that everything is being reported, the way that it should.
Sullivan doesn't expect many issues this year other than write-ins being questioned if not properly signed or named, as well as those ballots that may try and come in too late. Therefore, he suggests that voters either vote in person or make sure they drop their ballot in a drop box.
We have 19 now, I believe, drop boxes. And if there's anything I can guarantee 100% is that if you put it in a drop box, it's going to make its way down here into the election room.
And if you do take them to a post office, have them hand-stamped the day you take them in and separated by the local post office. To make sure your vote has been counted, you can track your vote through the state's website at vote.utah.gov. All votes must be postmarked by November 4th, and all ballots must be cast prior to the close of the polls or in the ballot boxes by 8 p.m. November 5th in order to count. In Washington County, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.